We're live.
All right. Welcome to tonight's Minifan Mashup. I'm Adam. With me, I have the gorgeous First Lady, Lauren Lynn, the brilliant Rain Man, R.A. Minahan, and the leader of the blind, Gearhead President. How is everyone doing tonight?
What's going on?
Good. How are you?
Excellent.
Living the dream.
Good. Gearhead, this is your first time on the YouTube channel, correct?
Yes, it is. It's an honor to be here.
And you are what is it, Westfield State? You're
the blind caller, right?
Right?
Yeah, I called in a couple of times.
Who somehow never crossed paths with Mike.
Yeah, like physically, I'm shocked that it just never happened. Well, he graduated a year before I did. So
they've doubted your story because of that. Can you come out and tell us now? Are you actually blind? Did you really go there? I mean, how blind are you compared to Mike? I
think I have a little bit more vision than Mike, actually. I have a lot of central vision.
No one's actually blind in this world.
The
Seriously, I'm waiting for like Stevie Wonder or Ray Charles to come in, but everyone's like, I got like 40%. I'm sick of this. I want like 0.
I'd say my percent is probably about 25.
Jesus
but I
Christ.
can see like it's like looking through one of those old toilet paper tubes, like looking through like that.
Oh, so you have like pinhole vision?
Yeah, exactly.
Is that scary? Like you wake up every morning, it's a little smaller of a pinhole?
I don't
mean to be like super,
same since I was born,
super
so.
Downer. Oh, okay. So is it getting worse? I don't know.
Actually, mine's gotten better. I got gene. It does get worse eventually, but mine's got better. I got gene therapy in the fall. And
is that what Mike was trying to do when he went to the doctors a couple of times? Is that something that he was looking into and then sort of fell off on?
Yeah.
Toronto's got a cure for that, right?
That's true.
Yeah, that's right. He was my physician actually, but
okay.
But yeah, that's what Mike was looking for, and yeah, so I don't think Mike does enough as a blind person.
Not like meet up with each other. You seem like almost the same person.
How dare you say that? But
no,
I mean,
true. Doesn't he look like him?
I'm pretty.
He's a white guy with scruffy beard and sunglasses. I'll give you that.
I bet if you stood up, we might be a little. I might be apologizing with the physique, so don't hold me to that comment.
He's also not obese. I don't think he has diabetes.
Exactly. Okay, I was trying to be nice about it.
I do not have diabetes. I only weigh about 190 pounds, and I'm pushing 3 bills.
That's like half a
yeah.
And so you became a fan of Mike and found out about him when he was at EI or Barstool?
I was huge on Kirk and Callahan, Dennis and Callahan when I was in college. They were the only station that reached out there, and I'm also a teacher, so I had to wake up really early in the morning for all my student teaching and all that crap. So they were the only thing on, and I just heard them talking about him on KNC or DNC, one of the two, and then I went and listened to his stuff, and I was like, oh man, I like this guy. I didn't know he went to Westfield, and, until he said it on the show one day, and I was like, oh wow. But yeah, that's just how I've always loved Kirk, and when he got kicked off WEI, I was pretty upset, but now I'm happy. It's on Barstool.
All right. Well, welcome to the Kirk Minahan Network YouTube and the Minifan Mash.
Thanks for bringing me in.
I don't think we need to take a deep dive into it, but yesterday I think the OGs touched on it and pretty much covered anything that would make more sense. But does anyone have like one thing they want to talk about from the podcast? Anything that stood out to you? Lauren, ladies first. Why don't you kick this one off?
Yes, Steve saying that he found the old knife in the woods stuck in a tree. Okay,
Yes.
So
God.
he's like a foot and a half taller than me. And I can tell you, I would be able to see a knife in a tree. Like you can't. Like I don't understand.
I'd be able to see it.
Like, yeah. I wasn't going to say it, but
did they touch on how long it's been there? If they did, I missed it.
That's what I was going to ask. I mean, first of all, I'm not sure I actually believe the story, but nobody asked how long it was there for, or just how high it was. But I mean, and not to mention also just the throwaway line of, I just like to always have a knife around.
Yeah. It's just,
it almost is like in Shawshank when they say to go find the...
It was the knife he killed the deer with?
Yes.
That's what he claims, yeah.
So have you been there that long?
Allegedly.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like that's just odd that he wanders back like 6 years later. Like, oh, nice, my knife.
Survived storms, didn't fall out
Yeah.
and impale someone.
In the winter and all
Yeah.
that? Yeah.
And
So
didn't rust up.
Yeah, I don't know.
I would imagine.
That's a long time.
Just the comment alone of like, well, I'm really tall, so no one's going to see it because I put it up high is so strange. So that was my favorite part of the show.
Yep.
Those little,
very, very Steve.
Those little things right there that will haunt him for saying, I'm sure.
Absolutely. Gearhead, what about you? Did we lose you?
Oh, look. Oh.
All right.
Why
Don't you pick this one up?
I liked it. It was refreshing. It was good to hear them. I can't get over that Kurt sounds like he's got dentures. He sounds like Tim Neverett all of a sudden. It's just. But he sounds better without the video. But when he's when he's on screen, he's like like he's got to adjust his dentures.
Well, I mean, maybe Steve edits it after every show.
Maybe. Hopefully.
Is that even? I'm sure it's possible. I don't know about those things. But when he popped in on YouTube, and you were with me, RA, and Steve with his giggles, and
he'll laugh at anything.
You can see all of our faces are just like, don't.
Kurt could be reading a eulogy, and Steve would find it funny somehow.
This is very, very true.
What about you, Adam?
I mean, so the thing that jumped out the most to me was the Steve knife story. Also, whether or not it's true, and also obviously I always appreciate a good concentration camp joke. But but I agree. It was nice to get a podcast again. Something to listen to in the morning. But I'm loving the newsletter. I can't wait for another one to come out. But something that they did talk about, and I think that it's what we wanted to really focus on, was what happened with Barstool over the past couple of days with the attacks and on the cancel culture attacks rather on Dave and what he said in the past. His initial refusal to apologize, and then late today he did apologize. Gearhead, you're back. Awesome. We're jumping into the Barstool stuff.
Yeah.
And then,
my internet.
And then, just the podcast that went out. I think it's from the show Two Bigs. So I just wanted to get what your thoughts were on the entire situation, on how Barstool handled it, on how Dave specifically handled it. All right, why don't you kick this one off?
What was it? It's gonna get extremely real. Is that was that the acronym they used?
Yes.
I think that was. I mean, if you listen to it, like around the 35 minute mark, it started to get kind of crazy, where they basically just called Dave racist.
Yep.
They said it without saying it, and they called out HR too, so it kind of gives you like behind the scenes of like maybe HR doesn't give a shit, and if you listen to what they were talking, did you think that they thought Erica was doing a very good job with keeping things on under control? And it's hard for me and like probably the rest of us because we're white. Like I don't live in that world. I can't relate. So it's good but it's also good that like Dave gave them the platform to talk about it. Like there was nothing censored. They were able to come. I thought they did a good job. Like if that's how they feel. Like I said, I don't know. Yeah. But when Dave came out and apologized, I immediately thought like if Mike had done something like this and everyone called for Dave to apologize, would he have treated Mike the same way, or is he only apologizing because these people are minorities?
Yeah, I mean, I think that I definitely agree, and I think that it's not the most genuine apology. I mean, I obviously have a unique take on, from probably the rest of you in terms of this, in the sense that, listen, I've gotten my fair share of hate throughout my life. I've had people say things to me, throw pennies at me, not anyone from Maine, I promise. I've had cars drive by with people, hailing Hitler out the window as I'm walking to synagogue and whatnot. Like it happens. Whatever. It's not, by the way, also just not Boston. But I also understand that I have the ability to take off my yarmulke, put on a hat, not wear anything at all, and I can pretty much blend in as just a regular white guy who happens to look Jewish. So I understand that it's really different for me, but where I struggled with was, first of all, and I saw Matt from Providence mention this on Twitter, that first ad read I got really confused listening to it. It sounded like it was a joke. It sounded like it was trying to harp on really stereotypical things. And it just, for what the podcast was about, maybe that is I don't listen to the podcast. Maybe it's a regular ad, but it just seemed so out of place. And then, I went back and forth on the whole idea that, if you don't like it being there and your boss is this racist shithead, should you just quit? Like, I've pulled myself out of job interviews where, I've seen the reaction of people when I said, I'm not going to be able to work Sabbaths ever. If there's a holiday, I'm not going to be able to do it. But I'm not a content creator who has the opportunity to work at Barstool. So I can't just go back and say, well, I'm just not going to take it. So it's obviously a sensitive situation, but that commercial, that ad read just really.
I think those were done ahead of time. Like, it seemed very choppy. It was a very edited podcast. Like, where they had all the sound bites and stuff like that. So when I heard that, my first thought was, they just cut it in the middle of it and were just threw in an ad that was pre-recorded.
Yep. Gearhead, what about you?
I mean, I've had some discrimination in my life because I tell people I'm blind and they're like, how do you do things? But
sorry about that.
This whole thing, like Dave's apology, he kind of had to do it to save his company. I mean, because they're going against him. It's dividing the company. He had to do it to make that apology. And like Adam said with that ad read at the beginning was, I had to listen to it twice. I'm like, what is this? I was so confused, and I did, like everyone, I did the Google search to see if it was actually a company, and but it's something that I'm glad it was a good move by them to do something like that, because then it'll be something they can show. Look, we did this. You can't come at us like this anymore. But it also shows that the whole Kmart incident was not an isolated incident.
Yeah, you'd mentioned that.
So I think there's a little more going on there.
Yeah.
That behind the scenes.
Yep. Lauren, what about you?
I think these apologies.
It was a I think. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. I just think these apologies, and Kirk was mocking it on the podcast, or not on the Periscope. Cancel this person. Give me a name. I'll find a way to cancel this person. And now here we are with, you're really only apologizing because stuff has been dug up. So, and people are only, I don't want to say faking outrage. I'm sure people, their feelings are hurt, and it's a different time, but it didn't bother anyone then, so
yep.
There is a point to that. It's hard. It's a hard subject to talk about, like RA said, because of who, I am. So I don't want to tell anyone they don't have a right to be upset. But the fact that Port and I made that video, I think, I'm wondering if someone told him to. It's hard to say at this point what's going on behind the scenes. It's hard to say who really means what they say. I'm anxious, very anxious to hear what Kirk is going to have to say about it. And I'm sure he's chomping at the bit to respond to everything.
Yep.
And at this point, if they said subscription service, which is a very hard phrase to say, especially after people have alcohol, I think we can all agree,
Yep.
Which I have not had any alcohol, I'm saying.
Not the one night a year.
It wouldn't hurt my feelings at this point, just because Barstool's really starting to act like their back is against the wall.
Well, you mentioned it, that what Kirk would say about this, and he said in the podcast that he's not the type that would apologize for it, and that he would be more aligned with Dave. But it's clear that Dave's apology was because he made it abundantly clear he's apologizing because his minority employees are upset, not because he genuinely, I think, feels bad about it, or he still wouldn't apologize if not for at the people who the cancel culture brigade. And he even said that to Willie. So do you think if Kirk were in Dave's shoes, do you think he would have a different take, Lauren, than what he had at the podcast?
He would have an actual conversation with them for us to observe. This is just a bunch of finger pointing at this point, and it's not getting anyone anywhere. and it's never going to be everyone agrees with this one way of doing it. You know, some people watch Dave and go, yes, that was perfectly handled. Some people watch Dave and said, he's being a pussy. It would be better if they all sat together and had a conversation so we can see how things really get worked out, and then true feelings are more likely to be stated.
I think that Dave was on the verge of a mutiny. Mm-hmm. Because you had PFT's column where he basically said the only way to remedy this is to make Willie Colon Dave's boss, and I bet you because if you take away Dave from the equation, Barstool's just another left wing outlet. Like when they talk about canceling Barstool, it's really just Dave. Like Dave's the only person there who has any like original thought, or not original thought, but it's not groupthink. Everything else is groupthink except Dave.
Well, I also got pissed off just like a little bit in the sense that one of the proof points that Willie put out there was that Dave also went on Fox News and just jumped right back to that.
With Carlson,
yeah.
But I don't know. I honestly think that they're if change is going to happen at Barstool, it's going to be from the inside, because Dave already said he bent the knee for the people on the inside. So if you have enough people saying, you got to do this, you got to do this, you have to apologize for the first time ever. Dave, apologized. I don't think it's looking good. I bet you within a year, either he'll be gone or he'll have a diminished role or something like that.
Yep. Kieran, what about you?
I think KFC saw this whole shitstorm coming, and that's why he went so hard against Kirk. And I think somebody was kind of in his ear there, saying, "Okay, this is coming out, so be on this side of it." And I think obviously he must have remembered what was said, and somebody told him, and K. Marco said, "Okay, go against." I mean, it's not this whole big conspiracy, but I just think he knew it was coming, and he's like, "Okay, I got to get in front of this before it happens," kind of thing.
Yeah, I see that.
But if Kirk did it, it would be a totally different.
No, of course. I mean, if this was against Kirk, there's no way anyone from Barstool would have been in any way, shape, or form defensive, let alone as defensive as Kirk got, and rallying the Minifans and the rest of us.
Well, they weren't. I mean, in PFT's column, he said the only reason why he wishes he stepped in front of it was so that the minorities in the place would have known that they didn't have to take shit. Like he just threw Dave under the bus. He's been there a while. I presume he's on Pardon My Take, but he just showed no loyalty to Dave. He didn't say I wish I spoke up ahead of time to defend Dave, to defend the company. He was like, no, to defend the minorities in the company. So like once again, I think the writing's on the wall for Dave.
Yep. Well, I mean. This brings up the everlasting question about cancel culture, and going back and looking at what people said or tweeted 5 years ago, 10 years ago. I mean, I don't think I would have a career at all if Twitter was in existence when I was a kid and when I was in high school or college. I mean, at what point does this end?
I think it is I disagree with like Steve and Kirk and Mike think that it's if Biden gets elected that it's going to turn worse. I think that if Biden gets elected, it'll tone down a little bit, because I think that this whole cancel culture, how it's like accelerated, is a reaction to Trump being elected. I think that if Trump doesn't get a second term, you'll see people kind of like shift their focus. But I think it's a direct correlation between they don't know what to do, so that they just disagree. Anyone who's even remotely on the right's evil now. So I think that's when it ends. But if Trump gets reelected, then you could expect this to escalate even further.
Yep. Lauren, what about you? What would it look like right now if Twitter existed when you were in high school?
Oh my gosh! Thank goodness. And I'm older than all of you guys, so I am so relieved that my moronic 18-year-old thoughts weren't. There's no record of those anywhere. Maybe on some diary that got buried in the backyard. So yes, absolutely. And I do. I have sympathy when someone does something dumb when they're very young. I can say, you know what? Oh my gosh, we were all, idiots at that time. So, but people like the Barstool employees, like I'm going to use Ellie as an example. She needs to understand the platform that she has and the importance of what she is saying. And I would imagine there's somebody in her ear about these kind of things, but from what the kind of post she's made, it's hard to say. It's very tone deaf.
Yep. No, I agree. Gearhead, what about you?
I mean, you got to think like there's got to be somebody.
Gearhead,
They got to
I
have
think you
something
need
which I
to.
can't do anymore. It's look at it from the educational world. I sit in
I think you might need to boost your internet
What's
a little bit. You're pretty choppy and going in and out.
my stupid internet is fucked.
You want to try again? All right. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I look back to it, and I'm pretty sure this was brought up once on the show where they were talking about, like the R word, right? I used it all the time in high school and college, whatever. No one ever, and I think they actually specifically said this, but no one ever sat me down and was like, listen, you can't use this anymore. You're at a certain age. At a certain point, you grow up. And, I think I do feel bad to a point, especially for someone like Ellie, who is so young, but I do agree with you, Lauren, that at a certain point, that's not an excuse anymore when you have this massive platform and you have this influence. And I think that's where Kirk gets dinged a lot because he uses it and therefore asks a lot of questions and wants to get both sides of it and let people make their own decisions and, cut through the bullshit. And I think that sometimes that results in a lot of people looking at it as, him being aggressively questioning, like Adam Jones. Let's bring that up and say he's racist because he didn't immediately believe that.
Well, look at that guy yesterday on Twitter. I'm going to get the initials wrong, so I don't know what his name is. I'm sorry. But he comes out swinging at Kirk and then is all like, oh, whoa, why is everyone, offended by this? Oh, because you called an entire city racist, and they're going to be very offended by something like that. So,
and then wouldn't go on the show.
Almost bizarre how that went down. So
yeah, exactly.
And I think that person is very young. That's why I was using him as an example, because I think he was going to get a lot of applause for what he said. It didn't exactly go that way. So there was a little lesson.
But that's the other thing is that they all know that they live in this bubble where if they do come out and just throw around terms like you're racist, all your fans are racist, then they will get the applause, and that's all they want.
And Dave said in his apology, he said, you guys will never be held accountable. Like he straight up said so that means you can call people racist as much as it says you can speak your mind.
Stood out to me.
Yeah, so what it means is, you can say whatever you'd like, you can criticize anyone you like, but you can also just throw around terms like you're racist without having to be accountable for it. And that's the culture that's over at Barstool now is you can just throw out all this stuff and not have to answer for it and not feel like you have to go on and have a discussion about it. You can just say whatever you want with reckless abandonment.
Yep.
Unless you're Kirk or Blind Mike.
Yeah.
Kirk can talk to Andrew Dice Clay, and Dice Clay can't make a joke about, whatever, Michael Jackson not raping boys, but, these guys can go online and say whatever they want at any time and not held accountable. Like I already said, that's a dangerous phrase to say, because if you're not holding people accountable for what they say, that they'll just go say anything and everything, and they can say, oh, you said you're not going to hold me accountable. They could say Dave Portnoy is a big fucking douchebag, and I think he might be, but then he can be like, you can't talk about me like that, and now Dave won't be able to fire anyone.
But even in the podcast, The Two Bigs, Willie Colon said that, when he first sat down with Dave, he was like, you can say whatever you want, but you got to own it. So even since Willie Colon's been hired, and then you have Dave saying the exact opposite today, that you don't have to own anything. You could just say whatever you'd like. But yeah, like Gearhead was saying, like that's dangerous. That's dangerous that you can say whatever you want and not be held accountable.
And that goes in line with what Dave said to Kirk also about podcasts in general. He said, I don't care what you say on your podcast, doesn't matter to me. No one will push back on you. It's what's written in the blog. And we can go into everything that happened over the past month with Kirk in the blog that, it shows that again Dave was lying. But yeah, I mean Dave and I think that this plays into where Barstool was before they sold. Dave was never the guy who was doing the podcast. KFC was the one who thought that podcasts were important and that it was the future. And I don't think that Dave still fully grasps the importance of podcasting and how just influential and how important it is that you are held accountable for what you say. It's just as much as the written word for Barstool.
Of course.
So let's just go around here.
Well, nowadays you can just go like he doesn't. I don't think he understands it. You can just.
Yeah. No, I agree. So there's a lot of this obviously came from the video of Dave singing Ja Rule song and throwing the N-word in. Anyone have any thoughts on white people doing that? Would you do it?
Wow.
Do you? Let's get us in trouble here right now. Let's get everyone in trouble right now.
How's that sound? How about you start?
So this Jewish guy went through a big rap stage. I can spit bars like the best of them. And I always censored myself. And I have purposely never gotten drunk and done rap karaoke because I've always been afraid of what would happen if I was too drunk to remember to censor myself. So I wouldn't do it. But I do see the argument to. I disagree with the argument, but I do see the slight validity to the argument of, listen, I'm just singing lyrics. It's like when I was in 5th grade and Offspring Smash came out, and that song Bad Habit that had just about every swear out there, and I used to sing it, and my parents would get pissed, and I'd use I'm just singing a song.
It's
just
a song, Mom.
Exactly.
It's a song. I'm already hearing that in my house, so yes, I understand.
That's the dumbest.
Anyone else want to give a take on that?
Yeah, I've never used the word in public. I just haven't. But when I'm in my car by myself and I'm listening to rap music, I have used it once or twice with no one around. And that's just because it's the lyrics. I'm not. It's not because I've got racist thoughts or anything like that. It's just I am singing along, and I would be lying if I said otherwise.
Yep. Jared, what about you?
I'm not a rap music guy, and I'm a country music guy. They don't say the N-word too much, but if they did, it could be an issue.
Yes, it would.
It would be all over the news. But I've caught myself saying it every now, like just saying it while it comes up, like reading it. Like I remember there was an incident in elementary school where I read the country Niger incorrectly. And,
I had a buddy who did that in
that
Latin
resulted
class.
in some terrible things. But
jeez. Well, Lauren, let's
like I was just ripping off all these countries. Oh, how many African countries did I rip off?
Well, Lauren, let's flip this around. What would you do if you saw your daughter or if you saw your daughter singing a rap song and dropping an N-bomb in the lyrics?
Yeah, like she's already into TikTok, so I could see, her not realizing that that's probably distasteful at the age that she is. So yes, I would actually tell her, like, look, that needs to come down, and you need to be careful about your words. She's 10. I honestly don't know if she has ever heard that word, B would even know it is wrong to say if she were to hear it in a song. So it's hard knowing as a parent when bridges like that have to be crossed. But, I would definitely tell her if I ever heard it come out in music or something, like, okay, we don't say that, because it's a respectful thing. That's kind of the phrase that I use as a parent a lot. It's just not respectful. So they kind of seem to understand what I'm saying when I put things that way.
All right, makes sense. All right, let's lighten the mood a little bit.
Thank God. I thought.
Gearhead, what are you doing for July 4th?
I actually don't know. My boss, or otherwise known as my fiance, hadn't told me yet. She's the wheels, so I go wherever she tells me.
All right, well, at least you know that already.
But we'll probably just hang out, have a few beers, do a normal cookout thing.
Nice. Lauren, what about you?
We're supposed to be married in July 18th, but that didn't happen. So.
Oh, we've got 2 of those in here. That's
yeah.
Really
You said you had a wedding that got delayed.
It wasn't the worst thing in the world.
Mine's in November.
What's that?
So mine's in November. So we're currently on the edge of rescheduling. Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
We've been
so
looking
sorry.
at places
Yeah,
for
we
like
moved ours
the
to next
spring and
spring,
stuff like
so
that.
hopefully that'll be okay.
Did you have problem? Are you in Mass?
Yeah.
Did you have problems finding a venue?
Yeah. So
Like a
it'll
date?
be okay. No, we found it. We found it 2 years ago. We don't make much money, so we had to save up for this whole thing. And she wants to get married in the Catholic Church, and I had to
Oof.
say yes. So, yeah. So, but so we had to get some stuff done before and save up some money. So we took our time and get to do more time now. But that's fine. I'm not going.
Oh my
I'm not
gosh,
going anywhere.
You're such a good sport.
Go
Like, good
Seriously,
luck.
you were way more
That's-
optimistic than I am.
right?
Destroyed my mood.
I would be so stressed out.
Yeah, pick your battles.
Just
It's not
like,
one of
"Ah,
them in the
it's
fight."
fine. It's fine.
Yep.
No. I feel awful for my
No,
fiance.
I'm not gonna
It's
fight
like
it.
I'm eye candy that day. Like, it's not about
Yep.
me. Like,
Yep.
I just feel terrible for her.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, if
You're
we
eye candy.
reschedule it,
Lord.
if we end up rescheduling, we're everyone else this year's rescheduling, so it's not like it's anything out of the ordinary. And people aren't going to be like not interested in coming to the wedding anymore. So
Yeah, right.
I don't know.
Oh,
So much for lightening up the
Hey,
mood.
save us some money.
Yeah, seriously.
I know.
All I asked was about July 4th. So
Fucking
July
terrible.
4th plans, guys. Lauren, what do you do for July 4th?
I
Listen to rap music.
I'm not a big holiday celebrator in
What?
general. I stay home and eat ice cream. It's, an excuse to have a indulgent dessert. So
right.
that makes me happy.
Works.
Any crazy plans for the Sabbath?
No, but I did buy a shit ton of fireworks for after Sabbath.
Ooh.
So I'm going to be setting them all off Saturday night. It's legal in New Jersey, so I just went to CVS and just literally bought, I think, 2 full bags.
Jesus.
Yeah, just go right up to CVS.
You
and
buy
have
it at CVS?
Yep. And they have the different ones. They have like the
Wow.
small little ones and then the big boxes.
The big ones, like
Yeah.
The
So
more-
I got enough to entertain the kids.
Ooh.
Let's just put it that way.
He looks so excited to do this. You're one of those guys, aren't you? You're going to just blow up or set
A
on fire
pyro.
anything in your way.
Yes, and I'm definitely going to lose a finger too. I'm for sure going to JPP myself, and it'll be a hell of a story soon. All right, what
Fair
about you?
enough.
Okay, I think it's time to bring in the second group. We can all go talk about the 4th of July for the other.
Justin,
Fireworks don't do
Justin,
nothing.
have you rapped
If you're gonna
in the
sit on my
car?
bed- What is that?
No, have you
Yes,
rapped in
have
the
I
car
rapped in the
that said
car?
the N-word?
I have never. I will go and I will say I have never said the N-word. And with that, we will leave the first group.
Okay.
All right, guys. Thank you. Don't forget to go to kirkminahanshow.com, sign up for the newsletter. Thanks for watching.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.
Deuces.
Nope.
Hey guys.
Hey,
It works. I had a whole schedule if it didn't work. Yo, you know
Man,
what
what
about
a-
Maine? Let's start talking about Maine. It fucking sucks there. Every time we need to record you guys fishing, it always rains. What's that about? What's it gonna rain at Saco
We just
too?
had
The
it
fuck
might.
is this about?
Maine microburst come across the pond, like probably 30-mile-per-hour winds. But there was a wonderful rainbow.
Oh, it's beautiful. Right
Oh,
on
as nice as the rainbow I posted yesterday. That was gorgeous.
it's a close second.
All right, what's up, guys? I am here with Gig and Tony and Ned. Ned, what's going on?
How you guys doing? It's good to meet you guys.
Yeah,
It's
you
pleasure
guys,
to meet you too,
Pleasure.
Ned.
so Manners, you can go fuck off. This is a actual mashup, and these guys never met. It's sorry. I'm
That's
here.
right.
So let's let them talk.
Yeah.
Well, can we talk
Hey,
about Ra's
hey,
dog?
Ned.
Ra's
What's that?
dog keeps interrupting every time his last
Every
3,
show.
I think, appearances. And he does
think
this.
I
He
like
does
that
this thing.
dog.
He does the uh-oh.
Yeah, he does that. That's what I was just gonna say. I like it because he does that. He does this thing where he's just like,
I'll be right
"Here
back.
it comes," like the beast from the Sandlot.
Every time I see RA, I just want to start hanging sheetrock in his basement.
That's right. That's right. We get the screw guns. That's right.
Yeah. So Ned, have you watched Better Than I Used to Be yet?
Yes, I have.
Have you?
Excellent.
It's-
I shamed myself into watching it because I hadn't watched you guys. I was just like skipping over and going, what's this about? But then I said, you know what? I got to click on it and watch it. I laughed my ass off.
Dude.
Just the accents alone. I just turned it on and my wife was still
Accents alone,
working
he said.
and I had it off. I had it on like speaker, not on headphones. And she was like working and she's like, oh, those are Mainers. Oh yeah, that's an accent.
Now, do you have a place up here, Ned?
Yeah.
Whereabouts?
Ocean Park, which is within Old Orchard Beach.
Yeah.
Oh, no
Yeah.
kidding. Now,
Yeah.
do you have a collection of Speedos to go with your?
No.
Are there any
No, no,
French
no, no,
towels?
no. Oh yeah.
He just has one very specific one.
Yeah. Yeah. No, the
Are you originally from New England?
yes.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So in fact, my dad and mother are the only ones that actually left New England, from their respective families. So everyone I know everyone in my family is in I want to say 4 out of the 6 states, and I got one in New York, like cousins and stuff. So, but for generations, we've always gone to Wells, going back to like my great grandparents.
Sure.
And they would rent houses on Atlantic Ave in Wells Beach. And then in about 1980, my uncle, my mother's sister's husband, found Ocean Park, which is a dry, tobacco-less community. It was founded by the Anabaptists, the Northern Anabaptists, as a retreat. Yeah, back in the mid 1800s. The Salvation Army has a huge pavilion there. It's where my kids graduated high school from, actually. And it's within Old Orchard Beach, so we're not at the honky tonk end of Old Orchard. We're in the dry end. So I have to walk across. I have to walk across the city, the town line to buy cigarettes. So.
That's talk about like the opposite worlds there. Old Orchard Beach goes from dry area to like heathens.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
To like a shitty Key West.
Right. Exactly.
Totally what it reminds me of.
But it's better than Hampton Beach. That's the way I always look at it. So
Yeah,
we lived there. But then, I had a career like crossroads where I missed like a third promotion within this company, and I kind of just said screw it. Emptied out my 401k. That was a really smart move to do when you're 36 years old, by the way, is to empty your 401k. And bought a business in Portland, and I wanted to move to like the Yarmouth area, North Yarmouth, actually, up in that area, and my wife's like, well, shouldn't we stay in the Old Orchard area? And I'm like, why do we want to stay in Old Orchard? You don't want to live in your vacation town. But we ended up moving up to a golf community, Dunegrass.
Dunegrass is a great course.
Yeah. So we were on the 16th fairway until I sold the business. My wife couldn't actually in Old Orchard in 2008, there was a terrible murder in Old Orchard.
I remember that.
It was, and it's rare. There was like there's very few murders.
Terrible murders.
No, well, a son came home from school, and unknown without announcing to his family that he was coming home from school, and killed them all.
Yeah,
mother, father, brother, little brother. Horrible. They actually ended up destroying the house. They took the house down, and my wife said after 7 years, yeah.
Wow.
So after 7 years, a biblical epic in Old Orchard, my wife said, "That's it. Either we're moving or I'm moving, back to Florida because I can't take I can't take this."
Yeah.
So, okay.
Yeah,
but we still go up there, and if I could, I would, because I can live remotely. I would spend the summers and fall up there, and the spring and winters down here. Definitely.
Yeah, no doubt. I was just down on Black Point Road on the Scarborough Park last weekend, and that's actually where my mother's side of the family's from, and my dad's side's from Scarborough as well. But it's a totally different world from like there to OOB. It's like quiet, quaint. Yes. And you go to right down in OOB, and it's just complete shit show.
Yeah, the kids love it.
Off season for pier fries. That's about it.
That's right. But when you vacation there, the kids love the arcade, and then up on Route 1 you got Waterboggin. The guy who owns Waterboggin is like 2 houses up from me. So he always get passes and stuff, and for a 7-year-old to teenager, it's a great place for the summer.
Definitely. Which for the Minifan,
Waterboggin
just open.
Unless the Minifan show
is it this weekend?
Right.
I think
it's this weekend. It's opening up.
And it's going to be, it's right across the street from the drive-in.
Yeah,
essentially.
Yep, exactly. That's right.
Yeah.
And just down the street from Saco Bay Tackle, which is where I'll be on Thursday, the 23rd, I think.
What are you doing?
Gonna be fishing.
Nice.
Tournament?
Striper?
No. Go stripers off the beach.
Nice.
There you go.
Yeah, they've been my boss lives in Portland. They've been absolutely slaying them recently.
Yeah.
I mean, they are hot right now.
Mm-hmm.
My daughter was up there in May with her boyfriend, who's from Old Orchard, and they they were fishing, but they weren't allowed to sit on the beach. So, you're surf casting, right? So, usually you bring a chair or something, you sit and you have a couple of drinks. But the police actually came down and said, sorry, you can't sit. Nobody else was on the beach.
Right. Nobody else is there. Right.
Yeah.
So like a couple cops get within like 6 feet of somebody that's totally by themselves to kick them out.
Yep.
Well, Ned, I know like you're into politics, so I mean you must be familiar with how we went from Governor LePage to Janet Mills, which is about the most polar opposite that you can possibly get.
Oh yeah.
And she just put in to affect wherever you go, you have to be wearing a mask. And I was like, I dare you.
Our governor did that too. Our governor did that too. Just mandatory immediately. It's just you have to wear a mask in public. Just all of a sudden.
So she put that in at the same time she opened up the state to New Yorkers and people from New Jersey without having a 14-day quarantine when they get here.
Well, we have to do that apparently.
Do you in Pennsylvania?
No, if we're going to Maine, I guess there's like certain rules that we have to follow because we're from Pennsylvania. Like we have to.
I wouldn't be surprised if that changes by the time.
That's what I was hoping. Like I need a corona test to go to Saco. I need
dude, everybody's been coming in the state for the last 2 months untested, no quarantine. So pretty sure you're safe. If you haven't
show me your papers,
you're probably fine.
Yeah. Okay. I get the antibody test next Wednesday.
Mm-hmm. Nice. $10. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I want to get that. Just
I think I had it. That's why.
Might be our way out of this is like here's my philosophy. We're not going to become immune to it, or our bodies aren't going to learn to fight it if we stay indoors.
Right. Exactly. Correct. That's physiologically absolutely correct. The more you're exposed to virus,
community, you play in mud and dirt when you're a kid.
That's right. Rub some dirt on it.
Right.
You're hurt, rub some dirt on it. So Ned, I was watching another show that you were on, and you were actually talking about the semiconductor business.
Yeah.
Now, little fun fact, Tony and I aren't just a couple of rednecks. We're actually both in manufacturing. I sell CNC machines for a living. I sell machine tools and fabrication equipment. Mm-hmm. And Tony works for a company that does web tensioning devices.
Okay.
For
industrial machines, process machines.
Yeah, for paper rolls or anything essentially that's on a roll. They make clutches and brakes and whatnot. So you must be familiar with Fairchild.
Yes, Fairchild Semiconductor. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. So is that what you're still doing? You're still in that industry down there?
No. I'm in global logistics. So I move stuff around. I've been doing. In fact, I took a break from it when I moved to Old Orchard and I bought my own business. And that's how you lose your 401k withdrawal. Buying your own business. Note to you youngsters out there.
2008 too. That's
take mine out.
It was 2000. It was actually 2001. I was there.
Oh, okay.
It was even worse. I was in my business when I watched the plane slam into the towers, and my family had not moved up yet, so they were in Florida. And then I had to fly back once to close the house and move up. I had to fly down, and it was like probably flying now. It was like nobody flying.
Yeah. Oh, for real.
So it was 2000 August 2001 to December of 2008. Yeah. But I couldn't find it. That's the problem.
The bottom fell out of everything.
Yeah.
And that's the problem too, is I couldn't find a job in what I do, what I know how to do, which is move stuff.
Yeah.
So, I applied at LL Bean for like a director of logistics, and it was a 7-month interview process and a panel interview. Oh my God. And in the end, I ended up giving up. I think I moved back before they made a decision on, the job. It's like that long of a process.
Wow.
But I applied at Fairchild. I applied at, there was another big one up there. I even went to try to get a job at FedEx, just tossing boxes. Yeah. And the guy looked at my resume and goes, I can't really hire you because you're going to leave for the next job opening that comes along within FedEx, which was true, by the way. But I was like, no, of course not.
It's like,
you are extremely too handsome.
Well, you know what I did? You know what I ended up doing, though, was I ended up getting a job 50 miles away in Stratham, New Hampshire at Linton Sprungley Chocolatiers.
Oh yeah,
I was running the pick and pack and the dock and the pick and pack. So they're picking orders of chocolates going out to their stores in New England as far away as New York, and then unloading the trucks and loading the trucks, and that was actually a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I would have been 400 pounds if I worked at a place like that.
We did. Oh, Tony, no. I brought, they had a problem with production. So they had rejects, and the rejects were, they couldn't ship the product from the plant if it was within the 6-month expiration date. So once you hit that 6-month expiration date, all this stuff went out to the police, the fire departments, the old folks' homes, preschools, and the employees. So like every Friday, at one Friday a month at the end of the month, and it was employee pick day. I would come for Halloween that year. I had a bowl like this big of the Lindt chocolate balls, and we gained so much weight. Everybody did. My wife,
that's I go back to about 25
we're going
times.
to Ned's house. Yeah, it's like November 17th. I'm showing up.
Candy.
But it was the best part. It was like Willy Wonka inside that place. It was the chocolate factory, because you stand around and there. Look, we lost John. So John's like looking at.
I'm here.
Dude,
I'm here for you guys to talk to each other. I just wanted this to happen.
Way to facilitate, John.
And so just to piss Menners off, so keep going.
The thing about Lindt is it's not the sweetest, it's not the richest, but it's the smoothest. So any grainy or granule that they taste in there, the batch gets rejected. So it's literally a trough going around a environment, and everyone's wearing head to foot biohazard suits so that no contamination. But they're going around, I want to say, like a 3,000 square foot facility where the chocolate is flowing like a river, and at individual points someone is just dipping a spoon in, tasting it, and on it goes, and then they put the spoon down and on it goes, and the next guy's testing it until it's pure. But it was literally like it was like Willy Wonka's factory. I swear to God, it was like
so
chocolate was running.
They reused the spoon.
No, they spoon, yeah. And the best part was you drive into the plant and there's a huge silo 5 stories tall, and you're like, what? It looks like a wheat silo or corn silo, right? You see on a farm, and I'm like, what the hell is that? And the guy who was my boss says that's sugar, pure clean sugar. And I'm like, holy shit, the rats in there.
How do you get that job? You're like, okay, we're gonna pay you like $7 an hour, and you're just gonna sit there, Tubby.
Where was that?
Yeah. It was like sweet.
Fatty McGee's dream job.
But that was it. I was putting on like 100 miles a day though on my Jeep, so it was a killer drive. But it was a fun job. If we didn't move back to Florida, I probably would have had to move closer to that job. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
Why'd you listen to Kirk down there mostly?
Best job that I ever had? Jesus H. None of them.
None of them.
Tony's Foodland, because take whippets.
Yeah, right. That's like 285.
How did you listen to Kirk when you were down in Florida? Like, did you just listen on the app, but was that before he was down there?
Well, my story with Kirk was that I was just about to delete the WEEI app. I was getting sick of the Sports Hub app and the negativity that you get there, and it really is. I mean, Felger and Mass can really drive you to suicide. It's just so negative.
It is.
It's awful. And I would hear EEI. I knew of EEI, and I would hear it in further south of me in Maine, like down in like the York area, but where I was in Old Orchard, you couldn't get it at the time. So, but I got hooked on it when the app developed, and then moved to Florida, and so I was listening to it on the app, and I was just about to give up because I couldn't stand I like the Big Show. I did like the Big Show. Even when Felger left, it got better, I thought. But I never liked the midday show. I never liked Dale Arnold at all. And I couldn't stand, after a while, I just couldn't stand listening to John and Jerry and Meter Perel. And it was just awful. And it's still, that's why I hate Jerry today. So I'm just about to delete the app when the Meter Perel left. And I'm like, oh, maybe they'll bring in someone better. And they brought in this guy, Kevin Winter, who was kind of like he didn't really participate, and he wasn't there long. I want to say he was there a few weeks.
I don't even know that name.
Yeah, right. He was really a short window between Meter Perel and Kirk. So then
this is 2012-ish?
This is like, I would say 2011, 2012 would be about right. Yeah. So one morning I heard him. I heard his new voice, and I recognized him from the weekends, and I didn't like his show on the weekend. I just thought, like, who are these guys? And, what are they talking about? They have no, at the time I was thinking, they have no credentials. They're not writers. They're not jocks. What are they talking about? Mm-hmm. But then I started, the best part was I started listening to the morning as I'm in the gym or doing something, and Kirk would say funny ass shit under Jerry and John's conversation, and they weren't even paying attention to him. So I'm laughing, going, wait a minute. How did they not hear that? That was actually really funny. And then I realized that they didn't. I think they were ignoring him for the first month until he just like elbowed his way. I actually thought physically he was in the old Meter Perel was in a separate room. Right? He was in a booth. So I thought this guy's in the, maybe they don't see him, but they can hear him. But it turns out, no, they didn't go into the booth. He was at the table. And then he, once he started things, it just became his show. And it was freaking great. I am the show. That's the first thing I remember. I am the show. Nobody walks in the hall when the head is on.
It was pretty bad up here. I mean, all we have for like sports radio is a big jab and out of Portland or EEI when you get within range. And the jab is pretty pathetic. And Greg and I both do a lot of traveling. I mean, I used to travel all over New England, so I would listen to EEI. And Kurt was really the only one that kind of drew my attention. And what's the one? The Fan? Is that the Fan out of Boston? FAN? No, that's out of
New York.
What's the other one out of Boston? The Hub?
The Sports Hub. Yeah.
Hub, And that was absolutely, I don't know how you could get worse. That was worse.
It was terrible.
It was bad.
Yeah.
It was bad.
It's funny because like I miss sports in general.
Yeah.
Of course. Yeah. I miss sports talk. I miss Kirk doing sports talk just because he's so fucking good at it.
He knows it.
He's so great at it.
Yeah.
And I love sport when he brings up Sporty R. McKenzie. I just fucking grin because it's so great, you know? You can just sit there and bullshit and talk about anything and just roll with it.
Yeah.
Well, have you guys listened to DEC dropped a Minifan show, The Best of Kirk Rants Part 1 today?
I have.
You have to listen to it, especially you, John. It's all the way back to the EEI days. It is
he kills it with those, man. He's good at those. He's very, very good at those.
And how
so
he just wouldn't.
Here's a little teaser for episode 4 is like there's a mention of Lenny Dykstra.
Right, that's it. I listened to that interview.
Oh, so I just tweeted that out the other day.
You did, man, and I haven't heard that in like 2 years. And I put it in
the new. I'm in the Facebook group now. Shout out to me. Got into the secret society.
We're making it finally.
Yeah, secret society, buddy. I try to stay as low key in there as I can, so people don't find me. My name's John Fry. It's on Facebook. It's easy to find me. But no, I put that in there. That is one of the best rants ever. I think. We might do that on education next week for Intel. But Ned, you know what? You should come on one of these days and we'll do that. How about that?
I'd love to.
Right.
Although
I think we have somebody this week, but next week you'll come in. We'll do that because that'll be perfect.
Say Tim is the best though. You got Tim on there.
Tim did great. He broke down.
Great every time.
I told him, I was like, yo, I got so many DMs about people like no one has said that about the education part that we do in a long time. Like, cause it's better when you have an OG guy there who could tell you like what was going on at that time. And then we were able to tell him what was going on in the Barstool end of it. Cause like we were fans of Barstool then, so it was pretty cool. It was a great breakdown. He's the man though. But we'll do the Lenny Dyke
a little bit here lately. And he takes notes.
Oh,
like Tim legitimately will.
The other cool thing about Tim is like
specific episodes.
He's got like a Bible
to be able to use like for prank.
See, that's like wait, you need to have one of those brains though, because like dude, and he's one of those guys who he's been calling just radios since he was like a kid. He said, like, that's awesome. That's awesome. He was like, just like, you know what? I'm gonna be a prank call guy. As a kid, like I wish I said that. Like when I grow up.
He was probably trying to prank Les Nessman on WKRP as a kid.
Because that takes a real skill. You've got to pass it off to get past the first wall of defense, and then you've got to have a second.
It's an art. You got to like be the character. Like that's what he does good. It's an art. I love it. Like, I am always so afraid to call.
He used Kirk's mother's phone number.
Yes.
Oh yeah,
like that kind of shit. Like it's all that smell.
On the call-in for the buy, sell, or swap or whatever show. Oh, that was
people were making fun of me because I don't know what I never heard one of those shows, so I'd hear those calls all the time, and I'd be like, "What the fuck is he calling like the paper shop?" Like
every Sunday morning on WPOR.
Saturday morning on WKR.
But seriously, Gag and Tony, where do you come up? The ideas. Do you have a schedule of what you're going to DIY, what you're going to fix, what you're going to work on?
So,
or is it just,
we're
just find something broken.
Really, it's real. It's like whatever needs, fix it.
Up at the house, you know.
It's a good concept because it makes the wife happy. It gets things done around the house. You're providing hilarious Maine entertainment.
Yeah, which means whatever.
But the little, it's the little things you guys do that's so, I can't see so goddamn funny. You even said about the there was a bolt or a screw you were looking for. You go, well, you need this, like, it's 3/4 inch screw here. Well, if you have a snowblower, you definitely need this.
Yeah,
that's so right. 8mm socket.
Yeah, that's what it was. 8mm socket. Yeah, there you go.
10mm for the snowblower. I always carry an 8mm on me though.
I'm glad you pick up on that because some of the stuff were like, is it going to be lost?
Well, I think that's what's we try to. It's kind of difficult to do a show like this that is part of this world, so we try to get references in there to the show, and
what's funny,
really are. This is for the Miniverse, This is
what's funny is like we sit there like till 4 a.m. producing this thing, making the scenes, and then like the day before we run through it and then just put all those small things in, and that's the stuff that people laugh at the most.
Like the will. The memorandum for Will.
Like that. The memorandum for Will. Did you watch all the episodes, Ned, or just one?
Oh yeah, no.
So did you see the end of the last one? That lasted like we added that like an hour or two before the show.
And then you used it on Intel, didn't you?
And then we put it in Intel. Gig sent me that meme, and then I was like, and then we thought of the Mad World song because that's hilarious. And like we did that all within an hour right before we handed in the show. Like that's small stuff that we do. Because like you don't want to reference the show too much, you don't want to do it a little. Like Gig does a good amount of it, I think. We're always worried we do too much to make it. We're always worried about it not even.
We've never done any of that. We've never done this before. We've never made.
I've never used
before. You guys are pros.
I've never used like video editing ever until this. Ever. This
is like real everyday shit though. This is what we've done for
like we're best friends years, and we really are just a couple of dents that like
like when Gig told me about the show, I was like, yeah, maybe we'll have it for like a segment on a show, right? So like he's like, all right, I got to get my equipment and blah blah blah, and then he called me like 3 weeks later, and I heard him talk on the phone. I was like, oh no, this is a show. This is a fucking show. This is I want to do everything with this. I heard coming down.
But wait a minute. Where are you guys located? Because I didn't catch that.
You're Sebago Lake region.
Okay. Yeah. Because the accent.
My family actually. So
here we go. Buckle up. Here we go. Jesus Christ.
Adam the Jew went over 5 minutes, so we're taking 10. So
I'll try to make it brief. But
back when it was Raymond Town.
So yeah, exactly. So my 6th great grandfather was a captain in the Revolutionary War. His name was Joseph Dingley, Captain Joseph Dingley.
Cool.
And the Beverly Proprietors of Massachusetts held an auction after the war, and it was a race between two men on horseback from Cape Elizabeth to what was called Raymond Town back then, which is Casco, Naples, and that area in Raymond. Wow. And it was the first man to get here, clear 3 acres of land, and build a mill, one founding ship of Raymond Town. And he raced a guy by the name of Dominicus Jordan. That's why you have Jordan Bay on Sebago. So apparently they traveled together and they ate together. And I don't know if this is a true story or not, but I wouldn't be surprised. So my ancestor like slipped silverware in the guy's pocket and calls him a thief, and it fetched him up.
Slow him down.
So then he got a head start. And he came up to Sebago and he stole a canoe from the Native Americans, and he came up Raymond Cape Road in Raymond and cleared his mill. And the pond that we're actually on right here dumps into Sebago, and that's where he built his mill and one founding ship. So my family's been here since this is like 1797 or something.
And that's
also tied his shoelaces together too when he wasn't looking.
But it's funny because my ex-wife, I found my ex-wife down in Baltimore when I was playing in a band, because I was like, I never dared to like marry anyone from this area because it's straight up like the family tree that doesn't branch.
Oh, there's a lot of that around. There's a lot of that around me. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, coming from the guy that founded the town, it's straight up.
But see, that's the kind of stuff I love about New England, especially northern New England, because you can find people going back that far, and you're still there. You know, because a lot of, when the mills crashed like 100 years ago, or actually really bad after we opened up China. A lot of people left, and there's got nothing to do. Where I was, I actually knew people like my age, like late 30s, early 40s, who were like waiting for the mills to reopen. And I was like, mills are not going to reopen.
The coal mines in Scranton are just about to kick back up right now. I don't think.
But the mills, John, you'll see when you come up. The mills are off of hydroelectric power. The river. Yeah. And they were shoes, and they were, especially big shoemaking up there. And Saco is on the north side of the Saco River, and that's where the English used to live. And they're the one and during the French and Indian War, the English won. They drove the French out of Maine and really back into Quebec only. And those that stayed were kind of treated like second-class citizens. The Quebecois, they were treated like second-class citizens. They lived in Biddeford, which is
Biddeford Pool.
Right. Still do.
Well, they do.
Well, Biddeford Pool is nice. That's where Jerry lives, of course. But real Biddeford.
Really?
He's got that. All those sunset pictures he used to send out, they're all from Biddeford Pool. But Biddeford itself was beautiful. The workers in the mills lived there. Yeah. So when the mills went down, when China started and Latin America too started producing very cheap products for imports, we relaxed the tariffs and stuff. Those mills closed because those generations were making shoes and off those rivers.
Shoes, tannin mills, you name it.
Oh, we had like a big place in Waterville, Winslow. It was Chinette. So it was like paper plates and stuff. Right. They were out, and it's sad too because even right now it's like the paper mill industry is really upside down at the moment. It's a kind of people have had to.
The people that have survived are fine.
They've diversified to the point where they're making something that's a little bit different.
And actually, like China's buying some of the old pulp mills in central and northern Maine now, like bringing them back online, which is kind of cool for the state.
Tony has a place up in his family has a place up in Benedicta, and there's a large Amish contingency up there.
Crazy.
Now. Oh yeah.
Great.
Well, how about that, John?
We have some Amish here. I have a funny Amish story.
Well, in Scarborough, there was when we first moved there in 2008. There were Amish in Scarborough. They had their own wood shop where they would, Amish made products. Now, I think they sold it in like 2012. But on the way to Madawaska,
you passed the tunnel.
And said, I followed the map and I got off 95 and went on a little side road. I forgot, maybe 11 or something.
Yes, Route 11. In fact, goes right through Patton.
Yeah,
and that's where all the Amish are on that stretch. Right.
So
that's like 5 minutes from our camp up north.
Okay, perfect. So you know exactly what I'm talking about because the roads were just plowed, but there was still snow and ice on the street, and the mounds, from the plows were like 8 feet high, and it went from doing about 70 on 95 on the turnpike to down to like 15. Yeah, but down to like 15 or 20, and it's like why are we going so slow? And because 3 cars up is an Amish guy, with his horse and buggy slowing down all the traffic. Past 3 of those guys, 3 of them. Yeah. So it was like, wow. I mean, I didn't realize the Amish were
pretty cool because they're going up there buying like old farmhouses that have been vacant for 20 years with 10 acres and totally bringing it back to life.
Right.
Pretty cool.
Exactly. No, it is.
And they can cook.
Oh, they're hardest working people I've ever seen in my life.
They are the hardest working people ever.
And they make great furniture, great wood products. Fantastic. Yeah. We couldn't afford them actually because we went in there to buy something and it was like, I can't afford any of this shit.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah, they need to pimp out that carriage.
So, yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
So when's the next episode drop?
So it's going to be a week from Sunday. Yep. It's going to be it's kind of going to be our 4th of July episode. Granted, it's going to be on the 12th that it comes out. But we're going to be
we did put that what's it called in the last episode to honor the 4th already though. So we did at least get ahead of it a little bit.
We're gonna honor it again.
We're gonna honor it more, but we did make sure we didn't miss.
We're going to do something a little bit different on this show. We're going to bring people into a Maine staple of beanhole beans.
Mm-hmm.
Beans cooked in the ground, baby.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, baby.
Buckle up. It's a long process.
Yeah.
Hope you're ready for more than a 36-minute show.
It's a 14-hour episode.
But it does. But it looks
we're gonna put it up. It's gonna be 14 hours long.
And I know you guys chop it down to like I think it's under an hour, right? But
no, we try. We originally got it to the first episode's 30 minutes. Then the second one was I think 34, and then the last one's 36. It's tough to keep it to 30,
right? Because there's a lot of footage. It looks like there's a lot of you guys change locations and everything.
So, I mean,
and I never really knew like how difficult it is to like. I mean, some of the stuff like when you're buffing headlights, it's about the most boring goddamn thing in the world. So it's kind of tough to like keep it mildly entertaining while doing something like
you guys
that.
do it.
Yeah, we trimmed down like 2 hours worth of footage. I mean, even more hours worth of footage down to 30 minutes. I think we use we speed stuff up, we slow things
down.
Like
the most fulfilling job I've never been paid for.
Oh yeah, it is. It really is. It's the proudest thing I have. We work our asses off. Like we work our asses off on that show, man.
Yeah.
Best thing I got going right now.
Yeah, Tony's the real star. That's the thing. Tony hasn't made. He comes in at the end. He said he gives us the thumbs up, and then we submit it.
Right.
He's got a good life.
But so
cameraman slash head producer.
So John, you guys do the production?
So I just do it. Me and Gig sit online or like on a StreamYard till about 3 every morning, and we go scene by scene. We break it down.
So much work,
scene by scene
behind the scenes because it looks great, right? It looks really well.
Yeah, like we did. I think they do a good job filming it, so it's basically like plug and play for me, which I'm learning how to do that stuff anyways. So it's fun, man. Yeah. I love doing it.
We're going to continue to get better. You know, I mean, this is in its infancy, and it probably never would have happened had it not been for Corona and some of these other things, because it kind of changed me. Like I was like, you know what, I'm getting back to like the arts. I'm gonna get back to like the earth and being outdoorsy and doing all that stuff. That people should be doing. Anyway.
People don't realize Gig was in a metal band that toured the fucking world, I think.
That was
a famous rock star over here.
We said he made his second wife, in Baltimore while he was with the band. So I was kind of cool.
Yeah, he's a famous rock star.
Yeah.
Yes, he could play anything. But since there's no show, Ned, I don't know if you have anything to do, but I have a question for these guys. What's your top 5 favorite tools?
Ooh,
you for one.
Yeah.
Well, I was gonna say definitely me is one, right? 720. 720 is fine, Justin.
Yeah. I like the old metric crescent wrench. That's a good one.
Well, top 5 tools. Okay, let's be like
no. So like top. We'll put it in. Ned, you can answer this too, because I think this is a good thing for some guy talk.
I'm not these guys, but I can handle myself.
Yeah. You got a garage full of stuff you need.
I like a good battery operated drill myself. That's
gotta have it.
So your 5 tools that you need to have on you. Give me your 5 tools that you need to have.
So
every man needs to have a hammer, a drill, a tape measure.
Mm-hmm.
I would say, I don't know if you
consider
this a tool, but every man needs an axe.
I got one.
Axe, a hatchet.
You need an axe or hatchet.
You need a good friggin' knife.
I literally have one on hand.
That's a good one.
It's always right here, just in case I need a hatchet when
I've got an S-swing axe, hand axe that's like 3 feet long. It's perfect. Good for throwing too.
Yeah.
And then the other thing that, like, I don't know if everyone has it, but they should, is a speed square.
Yeah, very handy.
Which is that square that you always see. It's a triangle shaped.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
With that, it has a pivot point where you can tell different rakes.
Oh, okay. Right. I know what that was called.
And you could do everything with a speed square. Really, you could do your rafter patterns. You could do stringers for stairs.
Yep.
Make a hat.
You can make a doily. You can make a brooch. I think that's
airplane.
Top 5. That's top 5 right there.
Yeah.
What about you, Ned? What do you like? What would you consider your top 5?
Well, the essentials are a hammer and now a power drill. Screw gun / power drill. You need one of those. The problem most people have is they buy an underpowered one. And it's not, got a 12 volt and it's not enough to do the job that you really need to, like going into concrete or something. But Okay, it's also good for the wife. She likes to, use a screw gun. She's hanging pictures all over the place. Very easy for her. Yep. But mine is circular saw because I've had one since I was 15. My dad gave me an old one of his. I still have that one, and he's
Does it share the battery of your cordless drill as well?
No, it's pure electric. So
so
it plugs in. Oh yeah, got a power. And my personal favorite, because I did it when I worked construction, I have one now, is a Sawzall.
Yeah, ooh, there you go. My roommate has that as Sawzall.
Oh, those are
gotta
best.
have it.
Yeah, those are the best.
Oh, I had to when I was using tools from working for my dad and fixing machines and shit. So I would always make sure I had channel locks on me because it's vending machines and shit like that. So I'd always have a channel lock on me, an 8mm plier or what's it called? Ratchet. Then I would have channel lock. Always got to have channel lock. Needle nose pliers.
Yes,
are the fucking best.
Underrated.
And then obviously a screwdriver that has the detachable everythings, because with vending machines, there's a different screw for fucking everything. So that's very important to me. But I'd usually have like those Craftsman books that had all the millimeters of.
You flip open the deal and it's got everything.
Those are the best. What's your brand of choice, Ned?
But John, hold on, John. You just mentioned something that was really underrated: needle nose pliers. Because I've I've removed splinters with needle nose pliers.
And it's got the wire cutter in it. You can,
that's right. You get the snip. Yeah. But I've actually told about
definitely a multi-purpose tool.
I think my new favorite tool, like I've had it for a while now, is a flush cut saw. So the flush cut saw is, for instance, let's say you're tiling and you don't feel like taking the casing off your door. Now you can slide a scrap piece of tile up against that. And the flush cut saw, you can dive into that piece of casing, so now your tile can slide underneath.
Is that also called a swivel saw?
I don't know if it is called a swivel saw.
Google that.
Yeah, it could be. So the other, it's also good, like if you have to put like a new electrical box in sheetrock, you just plunge it in, cut your sheetrock real quick, you put your box in. So flush cut saw, that's kind of like a must for me now. I like them.
I like the old school Leatherman.
Oh, you got to have a Leatherman, sure.
Yep,
so I have another question for you. One quick one. Do you need an air compressor in your home to feel like you're a true man?
Definitely.
I got into a huge debate with it. 100%. Okay, huge debate.
I'm not going to pay. I'm not going to pump.
I'm not going to pay some other man.
That's true.
And then let's go. What's your brand of choice, Ned? What's your brand of choice, Craftsman?
It varies. When I worked construction when I was a kid, I got addicted to Estwing for like hammers. So I've always had a 24-ounce or the heaviest Estwing hammer. It's good for roofing nails. It's good for 10, 12 penny nails, double-headed nails. It can be too much for a job, and then you get the smaller ones. But I've always gone with Estwing, and I got as I mentioned, I have an Estwing axe. But for tools, I kind of go with Craftsman. And I know that's Sears, and they're probably going to go. They're probably going to be gone someday, right? Because
I used to have a lot of Craftsman. Now I'm just DeWalt.
What, Justin? What's up?
I just had to wait for this game of shipment to end until I jump in here.
So Justin, do you want to give us your top 5? Because Justin in the comments just puts nothing but tire iron.
Well, I don't want to give a top 5, but I just want to, first of all, Craftsman actually Sears sold that brand.
Oh,
no shit, Sherlock.
So now
I didn't know that.
Ned was talking about how it's going to go under, so he didn't know that.
Good.
So real quick, Justin, with Craftsman, you get a lifetime warranty, right? So you can replace any tool that you. Correct. That's why I've always used Craftsman, but I don't know if that'll change now. But
I like Husky, just because I like the Yukon Huskies. But my top, I'm just going to give a couple of my top 5. I really wouldn't call them tools, but like necessities that you need.
For those who don't know, Justin is the king of lists, so I just needed his list.
Yeah. So. Number 1, I think you need a battery-operated jump pack in your car that is
handy.
Very handy in case you ever.
That is a very good call, Justin.
That's a good one, Justin.
That's a good one. See,
so,
he's
cable. I don't have
pull over, on the side of the road and then wave someone down because you never know if you're going to get murdered.
They got the USB chargers in them now too.
Yeah,
yeah.
I have one. It's actually it's somewhere around here.
Don't worry, we don't need
it.
That chair is hooked
up. It's actually
just running the air.
It's a flashlight too, so it's great.
Oh, there you go. What else do you got?
My other thing is you need a tire iron to be able to change a tire. I mean,
I wouldn't consider that you need it on you because most cars come with basically, you know what I mean? The dude, I told Gig this, like, next time I get a flat, I'm recording it because I'm like the guy from Christmas Story changing a tire. I'm a beast. Carm will start calling somebody to make fun of me for having a flat tire, and by the time she's not on the phone, I'm done with it. I'm like, fuck yes. Like,
look,
okay,
it's fully charged.
Oh, there it is. Yeah, there you go, buddy.
Yeah.
So that hooks up to your car.
No, it's so you plug it in. The wires in my car, but you just plug it in and you hook it up to the battery.
That's pretty cool though.
Yeah, it's sick. And then
that's pretty cool.
Is that a taser as well?
That's the 3 series. That's got the taser on the back.
Yeah, the taser attachment.
Yeah.
I don't know why
it also
not working,
slips out to a billy club.
But what you need is a you also there we go. Yeah, look at that.
Oh wow, there you go. That works for the camera.
Oh, hey now.
Yeah.
Hey now.
But, what was I going to say? The last thing I want to say is a power washer. You need a power washer. I think power washing.
Justin, not to take anything away from Gig and Tony, but I used to be the king of power washing.
I want to tell a power washer story.
It helped pay for my college education. I worked as a painter, interior and exterior house and commercial painter. And my boss would pressure clean the houses before you paint them and seal them. Mm-hmm. So I said, hey, can I rent that from you for the weekend when it's not working? And he said, yeah. He goes, well, what do you have in mind? I said, well, I'll gas it up and I'm going to go to a mobile home park and I'm going to drive around with it. And somebody will ask me to pressure clean their camper. It'll take 2 hours and I can make $50, $100. I used to make $500 cash on the weekends.
Yeah.
No kidding.
Yeah. My children are older than you, Justin. Every Christmas, Dad, what do you want for Christmas? I want a pressure cleaner.
Yes.
What do I get? Fucking cargo
socks.
Yeah.
I get a bathing suit that they think will look good.
It's one of the most satisfying things you could do. You could almost make an ASMR video. Pressure washing vinyl siding.
Yeah. Right. If you just YouTube pressure washing, they're pressure washing everything. Metal, decks.
Guys, I don't want to burst your bubble here. I'm going to be the contrarian of pressure washers here. And since I'm going to go maybe for the next 6 to 8 hours on this show and just see if Minner stops, I'm going to tell you a story about my pressure washer whole situation. Uh-oh. I was going to pressure wash my deck, right? I was going to pressure wash my deck and, I get it all out. It's all ready, blah, 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 hooked up. Pull on the cord, snaps back, hits me right in the head of the penis.
Ow.
And I instantly black out. But I am on the second story of a deck with stairs. So there's a landing of the stairs and then more. This deck is 3 stories high. All right. So I hit myself in the head of the penis. Penis, boys, with a whip, basically. Mm-hmm. So I blacked out immediately. I'm on the flight of stairs. Now, in my life, I've always embraced blood rushes to the head. When you get that blood rush sensation and you're walking, you're like, I need to stop. I've always embraced it and walked through it. And you become a stronger person from it. And I'll tell you why. So I walked down these stairs, blacked out perfectly, thank God, holding my penis, who has just been possibly destroyed. I think at this point, I haven't looked, it may be destroyed. I walk inside and I find a bucket, a 5-gallon bucket. I grab it and then I pee into it. I don't know why, because I was blacked out. I peed into it immediately. Like my brain told me go pee. And just blood came out, just pee blood. And then I sat down on my couch and put my hand on my head for about 3 hours.
Wow.
And Carm was trying to talk to me. She said I was talking the whole time, but I was like, just not even me.
Wait, this was recently?
No, this was about 2 or 3 years ago.
Okay, well,
3 years ago, maybe. So, and then like at one point, about 2 hours, 3 hours later, I snapped out of it, and I was like, what the fuck happened? Like I didn't have any memory of it at all. The only memory I have of it is what Carm told me because she was watching what happened. I can't tell you what I was feeling. Like I grabbed a bucket, put it down, and then I did the little kid thing where you pull your pants all the way down your ankles and pee. And just blood came out. It was probably if Carm, you can make a fucking horror movie out of this, just me just pissing blood, da 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 da. Yep. So I hate power washers. So fuck your story.
I've run over my bare feet.
Compare stories, but Greg and I went to high school with this kid, and he was out sledding one afternoon during a snow day or whatever, He was sliding down a hill, and a stick came through his sled, busted right square into his bag.
Sliced his scrotum open.
Lost the nut.
He ran home with his testicle in his hand and a hat. This is not a joke. So it was one of those old school orange sleds.
Yeah.
Here's the fucking best part of this whole story.
I know where you're going.
His name, God bless his heart, maybe he's watching, is Dave Estes. So Estes. And he knocked up a cheerleader senior year.
Yeah, there you go.
It's like
you only need one nut. He did it with one nut.
You only need one.
Well, shout out to that guy then. Shout out to that guy.
Yeah,
he's got that.
He ran home. I mean, it was the most.
They should make a Hallmark movie about him. They told me I could never do it, and then at the end he gets his girl.
Yeah.
Right.
It's called I Almost Didn't Make It. All right, boys. So we're at an hour 20. It's 7:20. Let's head out of here. Gig, promote whatever you got to promote for Better Than It Used to Be. And then, Justin, you could call us out of here. Ned, let's promote our Game of Thrones show that Justin was on once. We got that coming out possibly this week, I think. Yep. I don't know. We'll see. But Gig, when's the next episode?
All right, next episode is next Sunday, not this Sunday, but next Sunday. It's episode 4.
Yep.
Where we're going to be visiting a Maine staple of beanhole beans, which is beans that are cooked in the ground overnight for like 12, 14 hours.
Yep.
And how to replace vinyl siding when some drunk asshole fires up the grill next to your house.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
That's a handy tip. Absolutely.
It's a funny one.
America.
I just saw the footage for the first time. It's so funny. So.
And don't forget, sign up for the. Come on, John. Sign up.
Yeah, sign up for the newsletter. Make sure everybody's signing up for that. I love these things because they're emailing us while they're. It says Kirk Minahan. I'm like, Kirk emailed me. Nice. What are we talking? And it's episode. I'm like, who am I? What am I talking about?
I was trying to add Steve Robinson to my contacts who accept email at one point. I was like, son of a bitch.
Go ahead, Justin.
Backpack leaf blower is also a very handy tool.
Oh, there you go.
Bless your heart. Justin's my guy now.
Yeah. Justin knows what he does, dude.
People think you only need to blow your lawn like in the spring and in the fall.
No.
But I do it like once every 2 to 3 weeks just to kind of keep it consistent. It picks up it picks up sticks. It looks incredible.
Yeah.
And boys,
on girls basketball player list at another day, another time, Justin.
Hey, we only have 3 days till podcast
basketball list. Definitely Breonna Stewart's number 1. Sue Bird's probably up there. Maybe Candace Parker.
Wait, what are we talking about?
Justin, what's your top 150 WNBA players? And with that, I will sign out.
Okay, I'll see you guys.
Keep this stream rolling. See you guys later.
All right, guys. Thank you.
Bye, guys. Thank you. Great meeting you guys.